Wagwan Internet, it's Mr. Menziah here, and welcome back to another video. Yesterday, Jason Schreier from Kotaku had made a article talking about the troubles of Anthem's development. He also interviewed employees of Bioware, and they obviously gave some information on how bad the development was. And obviously, they didn't know what the game was actually going to be to a few months before release, and the list goes on, fam. Now, I don't think I'll be able to get everything in this, but I want to start off with the talk about people at Bioware are suffering with anxiety and depression, where people had to go on medical leaves for a month or 3 months, or they didn't come back at all. That's serious, and I don't think a lot of people are going to catch on to that. Because with video game development, it's not a job you can just start doing. You can't just go and apply for a job in game development. You have to have a passion for it. You need to have the skill, the qualifications, and the experience to be in game development. So it's not the type of job you can just apply for, like in McDonald's, for example. And if you need to have a drive for game development to be a game developer, and the thing that you have a passion for is stressing you out mentally and is giving you anxiety or depression, that's serious. I don't think a lot of people will actually catch on because of how serious that actually is. Your passion is what's giving you depression because you're being stressed out from it. Do you know how bad that is? The thing that you love to do, probably the most, is hurting you. And it really just made me think like, yo, the people at Bioware are going through a lot, working their asses off. And some of the ideas that they worked on for probably even months or years probably hasn't even ended up in Anthem. Think about it like this. You've put hours, probably days or months or even years onto a single piece of a product, and it doesn't actually end up being used in the final product. Basically, you've just wasted a long time of your life for nothing. Do you know how demoralizing that is? Even in video games, like you feel like you've done a really hard mission and then, I don't know, your game bugs out and you don't get any loot. That's demoralizing. But think about it on a much higher scale. God knows what's probably happening to those developers or the employees at Bioware mentally. God knows. Because if I was in that situation where I have a passion for video games and video games is actually hurting me, like, what do I do? You know, it really makes you think like, yo, I'd probably be more suicidal. You know, because I am there. I am in that phase where I do feel suicidal on a daily basis. But to think your passion, the thing that you love, is doing that to you. I'm humbled. Really, that made me humble and just think like, yo, I feel bad about what I said about Anthem because of that information. Because no one should or deserves to go through what they're going through like that. Because I'm going through it. And I know how it feels. I know. And when it came down to the the development of Anthem, I see a lot of people claim that the game was in development for 7 years, but nobody mentions the 3 phases of production. Nobody ever mentions this. They get angry when they find out a game turns out to be bad, and they say the game was in development for so many years. You don't know if the game actually got started in production, let's say in the beginning of that 7 years. You don't know. This is something people don't seem to mention, is there are 3 phases. Anthem clearly was in pre-production for years. Just getting the ideas, just writing down, going to the whiteboard, talking, having discussions. That's pre-production. What are we going to do with this game? What is the product? Then the actual production is making the product. And that's something people seem to get misconstrued when they hear a game being in development for 7 years. They automatically think, oh, the game's been in production for 7 years. But that's not actually the case. And then the last few months, or even the last few years, depending on how quick they develop the game, is post-production, which is the editing phase. You know, getting everything done, squashing out bugs, that type of stuff. And it really shows that this game was going through a lot of crap in its development. People were straight up, you know, getting depressed, having anxiety, crying in private rooms. Head directors being shifted, aimlessly not knowing what the game is going to be about, the change of the name. Because apparently the game was originally supposed to be called Beyond, and then I think a few days or weeks even before the 2017 E3 demo was when they actually found out what the name of the game was. That's mad. Like, that's really mad. You don't even know what the product is called until you show off the actual demo. That guy called Sutherland, the guy who's left EA, played the game originally and he said that it was boring. And then they added in the flying mechanics and then he actually enjoyed it, he says. And then that's the actual demo that was shown at E3 2017 apparently. When I hear this, I just think to myself, how does this happen? Where does it start from? I would like to know and do a video on it. Like, do a documentary on, like, Trouble development and how it starts. I would love to do a documentary. You know? Because, like, I think that would be something that would be really good for the community to understand. This shit happens. And then the game comes out poor, but has a strong monetization option. And obviously, people complained about the microtransactions, the game isn't doing well, and that's also something as well. Think about all of the people who went through all the stress in development, and then to find out the internet doesn't like it, and people pretty much go on witch hunts and tears them apart. Think about that too, on how that could damage someone mentally. Because I've seen people get their careers ended by empty accusations. I spoke about this in my community tab, and it's true. It happens. Empty accusations can ruin a life. And how do you think it feels for the developers at Bioware to know that the game that they worked on, probably in the worst way, isn't being received well? And that's a prime example on why you shouldn't push your developers. But also, before people get angry at me, this isn't all EA's fault either. Think about it like this. You give someone 7 years to give you a product that you can sell. How do you think the person that... how do you think you must feel if you was in EA's position? You know, Bioware works for you, and they say they're going to work on a game, and they worked on it for 7 years. I'd be like, yo, big man thing, you need to release this game on this day, or else. It's just simple. It's being released on the day, no more excuses. I can't blame EA. I can't. Like, a big man thing. For people to blame this on EA, you're trying to blame something on someone who actually isn't the actual, how do I say this, the villain, if you want to say that, in this situation. In fact, I don't blame EA for wanting to get the game out. 7 years later, still no product? Yeah, fam, you're releasing it. I don't care what condition it's in. You need to release it now, fam. Big man thing. This is a sad moment. Like, people are probably gonna like try and make this into an anger fest, or people are straight up gonna try and dick ride and defend them. I don't want any part of this, fam, to be completely honest with you. I really don't, because it's something sad. This is sad, fam. You know, people are being overworked, stressed out, trying to do their best to work on a game, and the game doesn't even get received well. That's sad, fam. But anyway, you guys have to let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You know how I feel. You know, I'm just gonna try and talk as minimal as possible on Anthem, but I had to mention this. I had to talk about this. Thank you for watching this video. If you are new to the channel, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.